You are now watching Harrison Family Values, the podcast. I'm your host, Dre. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're watching, no matter what format, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, please do me a favor, hit the like button and leave a comment, please. It helps YouTube share this video out to other people. What's going on, brother Brandon? Glad you were here too. Yeah, we're gonna get into this dope discussion. Okay, we got brother Jesse watching on Facebook, Brandon watching on YouTube, and let me know what form. Actually, you don't have to let me know. Just leave a comment, and I'll know where you guys are watching from. Yeah, man. Listen, it's 2024. The Olympics is pretty much over. Everybody's roasting the Italian breakdancer. Hey, I ain't mad at her. She tried. She went up there and she did her thing. Her rendition of what breakdancing is. I'm just happy that it's made international recognition through breakdancing in the Olympics. But either way, Olympics is over. Shout out to the United States leading the charge with medals. Okay, I am American, born in America, and I'm proud to be American in times like these. But there's also times where I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I want to claim my country right now. Because we be making some stupid decisions, don't we? Some dumb decisions. But either way, we are American. And every time there's an Olympics, the same year, there's elections. And this year is an election year. And we have, on the Republican side, former President Donald Trump against, on the Democratic side, current Vice President Kamala Harris. Now, if you've watched this channel any length of time, you know my political position. I'm apolitical. I don't ascribe to being a Democrat or a Republican. I'm a Christian, and I do not. If I label myself anything, it will be Christian, part Trini, part Puerto Rican, American, but on the top of all that, a Christian. Okay? And we already live in such a polarizing society with labels already separating us. Like we all live in a country. We already have so many different cultures, right? And you would think under the banner of being American, we could all come together and celebrate what it means to be American in all its beauty and diversity. But instead, we keep creating more lines between us as Americans, specifically in politics. Red, blue, the legal Bloods and Crips. Okay? It's like you have to be one or the other. Why? Why do I have to be either? And shout out to Sister Larita up in the chat watching from Facebook. Oh, Australian, my bad. She was Australian. Sorry to my Italian brothers and sisters. She was not Italian. She was Australian. I just knew it had an IAN at the end of it. All right? But Australian nonetheless. But I mean, they produce a lot of other hip hop artists such as Iggy Azalea and stuff. So I'm just saying, I guess they have an affinity for hip hop and they're trying their hardest to represent for the hip hop culture. So shout out to Australia. But back to what I was saying. Already divided. Democrats, Republicans. And you have to choose a side. You have to choose a side because if you don't, to them, you're choosing the other side. So if I am around my Republican friends and they say that if you're not voting Republican, then you're choosing to be Democrat. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. And then my Democratic friends say the same thing. You not voting Democrat is sort of more like a vote for the Republican. I'm like, okay. I don't see it that way because we live in a two-party system where out of 250 million Americans, two people are the ones chosen to run for president, and only one of the two will get elected. So no matter how great a third-party candidate is, they'll never be voted in because we, as sheep, have been tricked to believe, and this is way crooked. I'm like way off-centered here. There we go. We're tricked to believe that we could only choose between two parties. And then, hold on one second. Give me a moment while I turn this real quick. Don't follow me. Don't fall. I got my coffee here too. It'd be funny if I felt. Oh, there we go. I think I did too much. Let me see. Let's see. Did this look better? Ah, way better. All right. And then, I forgot my thought. Either way, two-party system, right? And you have to vote for one or the other, and I think it's horrible. And then I remember, and then we have now another thing that I'm labeled as is black. I have brown skin, so you guys will label me as an African American or black, and I'm proud to be the color that I am, and I'm proud of it all. And one thing I noticed, and one thing I noticed is that the Republicans, right, who happen to be black, claim that the Democrats are pandering to black people by having Meg Thee Stallion up and, performing and doing the ungodly on stage at the Democratic convention, or not the Democrat, or at one of the Atlanta rally in support of Kamala Harris. But then on the flip side, Trump is doing the same thing. Trump has, remember 4 years ago, he had those two sisters, and it just seems like there's an archetype that these politicians are using to pander to the African Americans or those who are of the black culture in America. They have to find the most eccentric, because here's what they're not doing. They're not platforming people like Barack Obama or Michelle Obama, right? That are normal people. Like normal people who aren't famous, right? Like they're not really, they're platforming those who have the archetype of the image that people want to see black people as. And I have an issue with that. Not everybody is on stage. Not everybody in black culture is out there dancing the way Meg Thee Stallion dances. Nor, like in the Trump rally that he just had where he talked about the woman who gave him a kiss and he was like, I may not return to the first lady, that sister. She's the same archetype. It's the same thing. Like, so we don't see, like, people who are just normal citizens, like they won't put me up there because I'm not out there talking like, I'm from the street all the time. I know how to code switch. Don't get me wrong, right? But if I'm on stage at a political rally, I'm going to code switch a little bit. All right, I am. I ain't going to lie, right? But it just shows that both sides are pandering, right? But that's the least of our struggles because what's happening also is this divide between Democrats and Republicans in America has crept into the dating scene. Whoa! Let me get a sip of this. It's decaf. I'm energetic, but I'm always energetic. I'm always energetic. And I see Brandon said default programming. Yep. Larita says, as one who works at the polls, it is something to be seen. Unfortunately, when neither side is voted, or votes are seen as being given away unless they are a viable third-party candidate. And here's the thing. If I see that point, but if I'm an American and my vote matters, if my vote actually does matter, it shouldn't matter who I vote for. If you're telling me my vote matters, but I have to vote for one of the two candidates, I don't like that system. I don't. Like you just pigeonholed me into two options out of 250 million Americans, and I have an issue with that. I do. The true issue is that when folk decide they don't like either candidate, they will not vote, and that is tragic. I think people have the vote. The people who fought for the right to vote also fought for the right not to vote. I'm not saying I'm not voting. One thing I will say is I will never tell you who I voted for. I just won't, because I'm apolitical, and I don't want you thinking that I'm a Democrat or that I'm a Republican. So I will never tell you who I voted for. Won't do it. Won't do it. But I'll be at the polls. Just y'all ain't gonna know who I'm voting for. Hey, Misunderstood, what's going on? Glad you are here. Glad you are here. I think they are looking for the young vote, not so much a particular race or culture. But if you're looking for a young vote, why approach that? Like you're acting like all young people. Like to get the young vote, you have to stoop down to their level. No, because here's the thing. After they get the young vote, and this is what our young people need to understand. After they get our young vote, what happens after they get into office? Are they concerned about our young issues then? No. So stop pandering. Tell us what you're going to, and let's not insult young people to believe that Meg Thee Stallion is the best person to represent, or what's her name, the girl who had the shame, Amber Rose, as if those are the people that young people are going to gravitate to. Let's not insult everybody, because there are intelligent young people out there that really want to know who is the best candidate. And I don't, they don't need Meg Thee Stallion up on stage to do that. So I get, but it's still a form of pandering. It is. Let's instead of stooping down to the young people's level, let's rise up. All right. Here's where we are. And for you to understand the issues at play here, you need to come up and understand the issues, not vote for the person who has your favorite artist dancing on stage. Yeah. But again, like, you can vote for whoever you want, and I don't care who you vote for. I'm gonna still love you anyway. You're still gonna be my family. You're still gonna be my friend. I'm still gonna respect your differences. Even if you don't respect mine, I'm gonna love you. You can insult me because you think I voted a certain way, and I'm not telling you how I'm voting. And if anything happens to you and you need help, I'll still be there for you, regardless. Okay. But back to what I was saying. This divide has crept into dating, and it made it even more difficult for people to find a viable mate, because people are now choosing mates based on their political affiliation. As if it's not already hard enough out there in these dating streets for you single people. Whew. Now you need to ask on the first date, who did you vote for? Before you can go into the next phase of the relationship. And I get it. I do get it, because we live in a polarizing society where politics is huge. But it wasn't always like that. And the reason why it's so huge is because we're not talking about issues that actually pertain to Americans and all Americans. We vote based on the personality. We vote based on personalities. So who you vote for pretty much will tell the person you're dating your type of personality or what you believe in. And I got a couple of videos. I went on TikTok and I did a deep dive and got some videos for you guys. And these videos are pretty intense, I'll tell you. Pretty intense, okay? Check this out, okay? Check this out. Her shirt says, "I only date elephants." I mean, Republicans, all right? Non-lib take 26. She has 26 of these. I'm not going to play all the other 25 videos. We're going to stay right here, okay? Now listen to what this sister has to say.
When it comes to dating, I do not believe in political intermarriage. This is just a values thing. Since 2012, when I was in college, I've been asking guys who they vote for before going on a first date with them. It's actually been an amazing knockout question. I'm a busy girl. I'm not wasting my time. It was actually 2012 on election night when the guy I was seeing at the time first saw me cry. I obviously have liberal friends. It was a liberal friend who actually gifted me this shirt, but they probably did it more as a warning to others than a gift to me. I mean, when given a choice between Romney and Obama, Romney at the time being a palatable moderate Republican, against a second-term Obama, as a first-term were forgivable, then you could simply never be the father of my children.
So, if you voted for Obama in 2012, you are automatically disqualified from dating this sister right here. Automatically. You can be a great provider, protector, or you voted Democrat. Nope. Can't do it. Can't do it. And I get it. But you know what? It's like religion, right? The Bible says, do not be unequally yoked with a non-believer. And it specifically says non-believer. It doesn't say do not be unequally yoked. We take that, do not be unequally yoked, and we run with just that. Let's finish it. Do not be unequally yoked with a non-believer. Okay? So it's not the same as dating somebody who's not as strong of a believer as you, as it is dating somebody who has a different political affiliation. But it makes it difficult, right? You are in a situation where you cannot fall in love with or date somebody who does not believe the same as you politically. I'm sorry, guys. For you single people, I don't envy you. I don't. Yeah, absolutely. Choosing a mate based on politics is crazy. Yeah, but actually, if you hear what they have to say, some of it makes sense. This is why this situation that I'm talking about today, I'm not coming from a political like a. I'm not going to give you guys an answer like I agree with it or don't agree with it. I got to be honest with you. Just like my political views on being apolitical, I am sort of like right in between on this whole interpolitical dating. And that's what it's called now. Interpolitical dating. There's a term for it. There's a term for it. Interpolitical dating. Misunderstood says, I won't date bipartisan. Okay, I hear you. I hate and I respect it. Who are they voting for is not the prelim question I asked. My question is, my questions are laughed at by these. I'm sorry, my eyes like I can't see up close. So, but these are not prelim. Okay, but these are not prelims. All right. And my brother Brandon says, honestly, Dre, historically, it's always been included in the dating scene. It's definitely more openly discussed with too much information now, more than the late 18th. And here's my thing about the information. It's not even all facts. We have now more news commentary stations and political commentary stations that are partisan than we have not partisan. So it's very difficult. We tend to allow echo chambers to fill our minds with what we want to be filled with. So listening to the opposing view, trying to have a more objective approach to politics is almost impossible today because we think just because Fox News tells us something from a political commentator that is true, and it's not always true. They're commentating on politics. Just like somebody from NBC who is a political commentator. They're like, here's the thing. Just give us the information without your personal opinion and let us make an informed decision based off of that. And I think that's what we really need. I have another video for you guys. Another one. Okay. I had a friend ask me today. Let's see what she has to say.
I had a friend ask me today if I could ever date someone with different political views than mine. And even like 5 years ago, I would say maybe if we could compromise on different things.
Now, hear what she said. 5 years ago, people would say maybe, it wasn't that big. No, it was huge 5 years ago. I'm talking about like more like 15, 20 years ago. It wasn't really an issue.
Agree to disagree. But honestly, nowadays, with everything that's going on in the world, I actually don't know how you could. I don't know how you could sit at a dinner table with your spouse as you're talking about where to send your kids to school, how to raise your children, what decisions to make with your income if you guys have differing views on policy. I mean, does it work for anyone? Like, I'm genuinely curious if it can.
And first, I think it can, okay, if you understand, like, I have a more biblical approach to dating and relationships. And if a couple understands how to love one another, including their differences, and appreciate those things, it can work. And also, try to listen with understanding, because there are some people out there who are educated Republicans who have actual reasons for voting Republican, just like there are educated Democrats out there who actually have reasons for voting Democrat. But instead, we need to be so closed-minded. Now, here's the thing. Some of us people who are so angry at closed-minded people are the most closed-minded people. We are so closed-minded that we cannot listen to the other side objectively and say, you know what, that I can agree with, but yeah, that I can't rock with. It's like, just because I can't rock with that one thing, I can't rock with the whole thing. And it's tough because I listen to both sides, and there's some things that I agree with on both sides. And it's like that. But truth be told, there's not one person that I would probably vote for that would have 100% of the things that I would like, because I'm an individual. And when it comes to dating, it's even difficult because, as she brought up a good point, how would things look like with the school that our children go to? How will we manage our finances? Like, are we concerned about being business owners, right? Are we in a position where we can't afford things and we need government assistance, right? And what if you get to a place where you don't no longer need government assistance? Like, there's a lot of nuances, a lot of changes. People are at various places in their lives, and certain policies will affect certain people it's a huge, 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 huge thing today. Knowing who to date and taking into consideration their political affiliations. Got another one. I had a chance to speak to this brother a couple of times years ago. We were actually working on a show to do together, but then he exploded, and I was like, hey, remember me? And no answer.
It's interesting to see how politics plays a role in dating. You know, just 20 years ago, politics was insignificant in dating. It was not a topic that was brought up, definitely not brought up on a first date. You know, if your partner has an opposing political view, it's completely fine. Today, it's one of the top metrics behind whether or not you want to match someone. Is politics. There have been some really interesting studies that show that there's a significant percentage of men, but a vast majority of women who would not have sex with someone that they find physically attractive, but yet have opposing political beliefs.
First off, stop having sex with people that's not your spouse. I'm just saying. If you're not married to them, then maybe. Yeah, I think if you're not going to have sex with somebody because of their political views, okay. But let's take it a step further. Don't marry somebody who has different political views, so that when you guys get married, you guys can have all the fun, loving that you want. But yeah, it's kind of funny.
That's the context. That's the day and age that we live in.
It's crazy, right? It's the day and age that we live in. People are matching based on political affiliations. It's hard out there for you guys. It's hard. Like, how are you going to match with anybody? All right. And how do you approach that conversation on a first date? I do have a video that I'm going to play soon that conversation was approached, and it was actually pretty comical. It was. All right. I'm not going to show this one. All right. But let's show this one right here. Okay. All right. Here we go.
Could you date someone with strong opposing views on politics? I'm not saying we got to agree on everything, right? But there's certain political views that we should be on the same accord. Anything black related,
definitely.
Women's rights related, you're not about to sit there and tell me why I don't have the rights to certain stuff now.
So can I ask an honest question? Because you guys know my position here about that, the whole women's rights thing. It seems like today, the thing that is centered around the argument about women's rights is the right to give up a child before birth. And I see that as a problem argument, because people who say no, it should not happen, just value life. But then there are situations where I say it like this, right? I think the woman's right extends even way before her decision to do that. And this goes for men too, okay? I think we live in a society where we're just trying to escape responsibility, and we're masking it under the guise of women's rights. Now, I might not be the person to talk about this, but just please listen to me and try to be as objective as possible, because just hear me out, okay? The woman's right to choose. The woman has the right to choose who she wants to sleep with today. I think God tells us that we should marry the person that we are going to sleep with. But the people, women's rights, they have the right to choose who they want to sleep with. And then after they choose who they want to sleep with, if there's a child out of the result, then they have the right to do away with the baby, before it's born. And I'm like, that's kind of off to me, because you had the choice and you made your choice, and now the other choice is to do away with the consequences of a natural reaction. Like, I think the choice should be, I have the choice to practice self-control and not do this. And that's why people, and I don't like, and it's disingenuous to bring up the argument of what about in the situation of like incest or the R word. We're not talking about that, and I don't like when people who claim the woman's right to choose use that as an argument, because that's not really a right to choose. Like, a woman who is in a situation like that and chooses that, whether you agree or not, it's easy to understand why she chose that. But a woman or a man who willingly engage in intercourse because they're consenting adults, mature adults, and they do so hoping not to get pregnant, and then when it does happen, they look to escape responsibility. I just don't see that as a mature decision or a mature choice. I just don't. I think the mature choice is to make a decision not to engage in that kind of activity because you're not ready to have a child. You're not ready to get married. But I think that all the other stuff about women's rights, I'm for. That one thing I have a question about, because it just seems like the women's reproductive health is also kind of twisted, because it's not healthy for a woman to keep getting that procedure done. But we talk about women's reproductive health. It's just not good for the female body. But either way, that's not me. Either way, that's my position on it. And I'm not, and I don't mind having that position because we live in America and we can. I don't hate you for it. Just, I get it.
Out of 10, our partners are a reflection of who we are, believe it or not. Like, yeah, opposites attract, but that goes with so far. So 9 times out of 10, you're going to be with someone that has similar views as you on politics. You just.
Or values. Some of us have certain values, and we vote based on those values. So if you are dating somebody with the same political views as you because you value certain things, I get it. But that to totally deny somebody because they vote Republican or vote Democrat because you just don't want to hear their position, it's kind of like you centered, isn't it? Like, it's really all about you. Or it could be about values.
What about religion?
Religion doesn't work. I'm gonna say that right now. So it's just so two people who are non-religious but claim a religion, it might work. But if people are devout believers in whatever they believe in, and they marry somebody who doesn't believe that, it usually doesn't end well.
Who are we here? I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness. I'm no longer a Jehovah's Witness. We're very spiritual, sage. We believe in God. We believe that there is a God, but we do not believe in organized religion.
And there's nothing really wrong with organized religion if it's done according to how the Bible describes religion, centered around service, loving people, loving God.
Okay, and I grew up Baptist. Yeah.
More spiritual.
Yeah. I grew up Baptist, but I do not attend church. I would love to go back for the choir.
Shout out to the Church Dropout podcast. He has a video. They have a video releasing tomorrow about music. Like, she just said that she would go back to church for the choir. It's so funny. He has a video titled, "When Did Worship Become Music?" So, hey, if you guys ever get a chance, go and subscribe to the Church Dropout podcast. He has some dope material. Him and his wife, have some dope material over there. All right. But yeah, man, it's just tough for you guys. I have another video, and this lady is actually on a date right now, and she pulled out her phone to record, which was whack. Somebody give her the. Like, out there trying to shame a brother for his political views. But I'm gonna let her cook for a little bit so that we can take a look at her position.
Don't think we're compatible. The thing that you're saying that we're not compatible on, and
now I'll say this, my brothers, if you are ever on a date, hold on. If you are ever on a date and the sister says that you guys are not compatible, leave it at that. Leave it at that. So, you know what? It was nice getting to know you. I hope that, things work out for you. I'm gonna keep it pushing. Okay. All right. Leave it at that. Hold on. I gotta make a quick adjustment. Let me see. I can't even tell. I don't want my coffee to fall on me. Yeah, it's at 3.5. Let's make it there. All right. Let's see what it looks like now. Better. All right. Yeah, so if she says you're not compatible, just keep going, bro. Don't stop. Just go. Just go. Save yourself the humiliation.
it's a deal breaker for you, you're disregarding what I'm saying to you is, I'm willing to meet you in the middle, but we just have to have that talk about it. Like, what?
Politically, I'm not willing to meet anybody in the middle.
So you pay for the date and then keep it pushing, bro. But you want to keep going.
That's okay. We never have to talk about
Around social
politics
concepts,
again.
like, we cannot meet in the middle. I am where I am, and we're either arriving at that same spot, and we can talk about the nuances and the details of it, right? Because there's nuances to all of these conversations, but what I'm not willing to do is educate you on why.
And here's the verbiage behind I need to educate you on why, like, you can't just clearly state your views and then listen to his views. Like, so you have to educate this person on why your views are right. Yeah, it's off. It's off.
Climate change is a real concept, number one, right? When you said that, that was like a big red flag.
I get that. I was being a joke. It was a joke. Of course, climate change is real. I know that.
You said it was a hoax. You literally said it was a hoax.
Obviously, it's not a hoax.
And so if we were in this position,
You said the government was.
I am
making
going to
it
say you're
up.
absolutely right.
Like I
Did
said,
you?
we used to have
I'm going to drop you off.
snow days, like
And-
snow up to our fucking
and
door.
keep
You
it
couldn't even
moving.
get out your front door.
Right.
Last winter, that's not a Michigan winter. Like it.
Right.
So yeah, it's global warming. Like I know it's a real thing. I was just being funny with you, like on that topic, on that particular topic.
Another thing, don't joke around politics unless you like really know the person and you guys just do not joke around politics. Not in America.
Topic, the climate change. I was being funny. Clearly, you didn't think it was funny. It was a joke. It was a joke.
You
And
said
he
the
can't tell that she's on her
I know
phone.
what I
The
said.
weather.
I know what I said. And no, there's no way they do that. I know that. I know it was a joke. You don't get my sense of humor. You don't get it.
Another thing, stay off a hinge, guys. Go outside. Go outside and meet somebody. Stay off a hinge.
Be a good human being.
How I'm not a
Because you're saying those people when you're referring to trans people. That's
makes
not
me a
being.
terrible person.
It makes you not being.
Because of my
living-
experience, what I've been through, that makes me a terrible person. And I'm trying to.
I never said terrible person. I said you're not being a good human being. Because
like a
you have
terrible
one, you
person.
have one experience, and now you're painting a whole picture of a whole
Right.
community,
My one
oppressed
experience
community,
doesn't mean
an
anything.
already oppressed community of people. You want to further that as far. You want to take it as
This
far
is
as
when
you possibly can.
he
because
needs
of
to
your
stop
experience.
I'm not
trying
I'm not spreading
and keep it
anything.
moving.
I'm like, I never told my daughter like don't trust the trend.
This is why. I think that on a first date you should really talk about as much as you can, and even politics, because you don't want to waste anyone's time. But don't go into deep conversations about politics, right? You can, subtly say something, or ask a question, or, but like, people can't have look at this. People can't have a nuanced conversation about politics because they swear their position is the right and only position. So him trying to have a conversation with her right now is going not even in one ear and out the other. She's taking it in and spewing it right out of her mouth because she does not want to receive anything that he has to say.
I don't use the word spread. I'm not spreading anything. This is how I feel.
You
I'm
said the
trying to
reason
get
why
over
you don't
it.
want your child to be in public schools is because they're teaching about pronouns. Please,
Yeah,
pronouns is a concept.
Which, again, I have history in a public school as an educator in the most liberal city in America. This isn't happening in the classrooms, guys. It's not. I think people, it's this whole, we have to scare people to get people to think how we think. Stop doing that.
Just like an adverb and a verb.
yeah,
Why does that bother people so much? That people, you are not compatible.
No, you're not.
that's fine. Okay, you're right. We're not compatible in that aspect. I get that.
Which is a huge aspect for me.
That's okay.
Take her home. Take her home.
But I still feel like you're not truly listening.
He's still
You're not
going.
trying to hear me out. You're so stuck on.
He's still going.
Which is okay. I hear you. Which is okay. You're a single mother.
He's still
What does
going,
me being a
guys.
single mother have anything to do with this?
Oh,
Because
gosh.
you're teaching your values and what you believe in to your kids.
Keep it-
and you have to
keep it
stand
pushing.
on it, you have to
Listen,
believe it.
He's still going.
Back by
Even if I didn't have kids, I would stand on the shit that I believe in.
Hey, language.
And you know you're dead
This is a
wrong
Christian
in a lot of ways.
Christian podcast.
Like, you need to at some point get there, because you're in your 30s now. Like, you're dead wrong, especially as a black man. Like, you know you're dead wrong.
I don't think that's.
All right. And guys, I think that using the argument, especially as a black man, especially as a black anything, is disingenuous as well. Okay? Because the very people, and I'm going to say this as a black man, and I say this out of love, all right? The very people who tell us, you know, you should believe this way as a black man, aren't there to support the black man. It just doesn't happen. But either way, I'm not going to say no more before I get canceled on these streets. Actually, my views aren't cancelable, to be perfectly honest with you, because I'm apolitical. But either way, I'm going to end this portion with this video here. Okay? Because here's the thing. If you're married and you guys land on different political views, right? Right? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I would have been like, you know what? You're right. We just met on Hinge. We aren't compatible. I'm out. She must have been like a baddie. Like, she must have been like really bad, like, you know, gorgeous and fine and all that stuff. And she seemed like a beautiful woman. But yeah, okay. I'm not desperate to have a date with you. Like, you know, we don't match. All right, let's keep it moving. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Why is he so pressed? Yeah, crazy. All right, but I have one more. Because what happens if you're married and you guys eventually land on different political views, or you didn't get into conversations while dating, and you realize we're married, but we have very different political views? All right, let's talk about that, right?
In a marital space, it's important to understand each other's position, but at the same time, if it is causing too much friction, then maybe that's something that you can just avoid talking about for a period of time until you're able to get into a space where you guys can really get on the same page.
We get to the root of why you guys are actually in opposing views, because usually you might have different experiences, I have different experiences, and the reason why we believe what we believe is because of sum of all our experiences at that moment. And that's just more of a reason for you guys to even understand
each other. Yeah. I think that's a good point for those who are married, right? Do not let politics get in between your marriage. Just don't. Don't tell me, you can't tell me that you can't love a person anymore because their political views is different than yours. You didn't marry them because of their political views. You guys can go and live in a different country and it wouldn't matter then. It wouldn't matter. However, I'm not saying that it's not important, okay? In fact, let's look at what the scripture says here. I have it highlighted, okay? In Amos 3, chapter 3, the Bible says, "Do two walk together unless they have agreed to meet?" Right? When you guys are getting into a relationship, when you're getting into a marriage, it's important to agree on certain things. It really is, okay? It's important to identify whether or not you guys are compatible and you guys have the same values. You have the same morals. You guys want to raise your children in the same way, because if not, it causes conflict. It causes conflict. And you don't need to get into a relationship with needless conflict. It just doesn't make sense, right? So I understand the position of people who will not date somebody that doesn't have the same political views as them, because it helps avoid conflict. You're looking for compatibility. And again, if you've watched this channel for any length of time, you know that I say this all the time. Compatibility is one of the top 5 things that people need to look for in looking for a spouse. Okay? And actually, people should land on that. So you can find somebody that's attractive. You can find somebody that's a good provider. You can find somebody that is a good nurturer. But if you guys are not compatible, it doesn't matter, because they can be a good provider, just not for you. They can be a good nurturer, but just not for you, because you guys aren't compatible. Your needs does not match the level of nurturing that they're willing to give. Your needs may not match the type of provisions they're willing to give. So we have to understand the difference of, or the importance of being compatible when you're looking for a mate. It's very important. So can two walk together unless they agree to meet? It's almost impossible. So if you are in the dating streets right now, I think, especially in today's climate, it's important to have discussions on politics. I will recommend don't date somebody that doesn't share the same religious convictions as you. But yeah, if you're not politically connected or compatible, it could cause conflict. So you might want to avoid interpolitical relationships, and I can't believe there's a term for that. There's a term for everything. There's so many terms out there that it's the English language is just so ever evolving. The actually meanings and definitions in the English language in the Western context is forever evolving. It's absolutely crazy. My friends feel I'm too picky in my choosing as of lately, not realizing that that at my vintage age, and you're not even vintage, stop. There's zero time to waste. I did that already, and I'm not willing to do that again ever. I hear you. And Chavis says compatibility is crucial, 100% crucial. You need to be compatible. You have to be compatible. Okay. But when it comes to politics, I understand. I get it. Okay. People today argue about the nuances of politics and people's motives for voting a Republican or a Democrat. It's absolutely crazy. I don't have the time to fight you on your political views. I'm willing to love you beyond that. But I might not be able to marry you, you know? So I get it. I do get it. I do. So if you are in that situation where you are like, you know what? I cannot get into an interpolitical relationship. I respect it, and I fully understand. Fully understand. And if you're also in a position where you're like, you know what? It doesn't really matter to me. I understand that too. But we're like, you know, I'm married, so, you know, I'm off the market or whatever. But if another person is apolitical, right? Where would that leave them? Like, if they're not affiliated with any political party, because in America we're told that we have to be sheep and choose one or the other. Where does that leave them? Where does that leave us in the future? It's crazy. Babies are being born into being Democrats. Like you're a Democrat. Like, you know, I'm marrying Democrat because I want to have Democratic kids. I'm marrying Republican because my kids are going to be red Republican to the bone. Come on. Like, am I the only one that understands it, but just think that it's ridiculous to get so fired up over politics? Especially when, you know what? Never mind. Because both sides can get the smoke. I'm just saying. And with that being said, I'm done. I'm not going to talk no more because you guys are going to make me say some things that I should not be saying on my podcast. You know. So, I'm done. I'm done. Thank you guys so much for chatting with me in the chat. Do me a favor. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Do you think that interpolitical relationships could work? And if so, how? Or do you think that they won't work? And if so, why wouldn't it work? Leave a comment down below. I greatly appreciate you all, okay? And if you made it this far in the video and you haven't liked the video, please do me a favor, a solid for your boy. Hit the like button. And subscribe to the channel. By subscribing, you'll be joining the Harrison Extended family. And while you subscribe, hit the bell notification next to it so it'll let you know when I upload new videos and when I go live like I'm doing right now. And if you want to support the channel, I will greatly appreciate any kind of support. If you are watching, you can hit the super thanks button down below. It'll help us with a monetary donation. You can hit the join button down below and you can join the channel and give a small monthly donation. Or you can go to patreon.com/Harrison Family Values if you're watching on Twitch, Twitter, or Facebook, and you can support me monthly there as well. You can also purchase my book, From a Fatherless Father to His Sons, available on Amazon.com. Go to Amazon.com and then search From a Fatherless Father to His Sons, You'll see me there. You see my book. Purchase the book. And you should be supporting the channel. And I gotta be. I've been averaging now like 8 to 9 books per month. You guys have been buying the book, so I appreciate your support. I really do. Okay. And also, if you want to purchase some merch, if you look down below, we have some merch. If you're watching on YouTube, I would recommend going to my YouTube channel, Harrison Family Values, and look at the merch there on this specific video. And you can pick up merch and support the channel that way as well. All right. But guys, I really appreciate you. I really love you. And in regards to dating and finding a mate, by all means, if you can't be politically compatible, I get it. But guys, let's start giving grace to people who believe differently than we do politically, because it's we can't think that in America there's only 2 ways to think, and that you have to ascribe to everything that one of the 2 ways tells you to think you should think. But so I say that because like it's crazy. And with that being said, I love you all, appreciate you, and until the next upload, live stream, I'm out. Peace.